If you are a regular reader or watcher on social media, you must have read the book The Poor or the Rich Parent. Yes, today we're not talking about the poor and the rich parent, but today we're going to talk about the literate, semi-literate, and literate parents. I have a guest with me in the studio who will discuss with me. I said today is a co-discussant, not really a question per se. It's my co-discussant today on the topic illiterate, semi-literate, and literate parents. We all have parents at home or different locations, and we have seen the level of our parents. You got to know today if my parent is literate or they are semi-literate or literate. My dad wasn't a lawyer, he wasn't a doctor, but you're going to know who is my dad today. Today I have a guest with me. The funnest thing about today's guest is that we share the same name. His name is Abidemi. Though he's going to do introduction, I guess you are welcome to our studio.
Thank you, sir.
Can we meet you?
I'm Matthew Abidemi Afolayo.
Matthew Abidemi
Abidemi Afolayo.
Afolayo. I'm Faboye Abidemi Abifab. So can you see the coincidence? Luckily, it's never a woman. Assuming it's a woman now, we'll have said that we'll have changed address and phone number. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Today's topic is we're talking about literate, illiterate, and semi-literate.
Okay.
We all have parents. We grew up under. Even if we don't have parents again, we have grew up under guidance, and we know what it is. Can you give us different definition of these three things with your experience?
Um, Thank you, sir. The truth is, literate, semi-literate, and the illiterate parent. It quite depends on what your own definition
Okay.
of it. Some people say literacy as having gone to school, and some other core values in life. While some of us see literacy as acquiring every knowledge, specifically about life and about parenting.
Okay.
So when we talk about the literate parent, then definitely to me you are talking about a parent who has imbibed herself, who has imbued herself with the knowledge, core parenting skills, not just the written and the learning aspect, but something that, not just the written aspect, not just the grammatical aspect of it, but a parent that passes through the core values from the tender age, the community school, the religious school, and the educational system, which is the physical school that is the literate parent to me.
Okay.
Why the semi-literate are people probably just built on just the religious and the physical school.
Okay.
We all know our school. To me, the illiterate are ones who do not even pass all through this. Probably me and my parents alone, and they do not even have that knowledge, the insight to pass on to other generations what they actually have.
Okay. I want to remember in the 80s, I have a friend. As at that time, his dad was late, and he has an illiterate mother. That upon that this woman is literate, the woman will come to his house. I felt jealous then. I felt jealous about him then. The woman is literate, she cannot read and write, but she comes to his house and say, ṣé o ti gbàdúrà, ṣé o ti dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run? Have you called your God today? So and I begin to think this woman cannot read, cannot write, and knows God. You understand? At that level, I thought that this woman, to me, it should be only semi-literate and literate that should know God.
Well, that is our own high level of literacy, and that was on the foundation which she has taught and built the home. Because talking about parenting, literacy, semi-literate parent, I would not even classify my own maternal grandmother as an illiterate. No way I would have done that, because to people she's not lettered.
She's not lettered
at all.
Wow.
She's a stark illiterate. So, and on that premises, her first husband died at a very tender age, and she has 3 children to cater for. So she left Abeokuta, came to Ikorodu here. She got employed as a local government cleaner. So she was there doing her thing. But the one thing about her is she had just one clothes. Iro ati buba, one Iro and buba, that was all she had. She wore it, she will come back. She told us the story. She will say, by the time she washed and sun dry her clothes for the next day, the literate in her office will say, Alashoko, meaning the woman with one clothes. And Ikorodu is a fond of party. Every weekend they will say, come and buy this. Then she will say, bùkátà mi pọ̀.
Hmm.
I have
Because it's a single
yes,
mother.
but aside from the fact that she's a single mother, the bills, the educational bills, the feeding, and the rest. She might have ventured into what others are doing as of then. She might have party away the future of those
Of the
kids.
children.
So she was saying, ah, bukata mi and they nicknamed that iya bukata. Until now, when people like me go to Ikorodu local government secretariat,
As a grandson.
and we will say, ah, to those that have been there before, ah, omo iya bukata, like I am the grandchild, the name rang bell. And to the glory of God, those three children, there was none of them that was not lettered. Via that, she produced our engineer. The last time I checked, my uncle was a principal engineer with the Lagos State government.
So,
The other one as well is an onshore engineer with ExxonMobil exploration
that's wonderful.
in Eket. And my mother, which happens to be the least of them, she got her degree at Auchi Polytechnic, hairdressing and cosmetology.
Your mom?
Yeah, my mom, before her death. That was what, and the three of them, she taught them, she showed them the way of the Lord. She was they taught her how to read Bible. The children she invested in taught her how to
The Bible.
read the Bible. And same thing as for as my paternal side. I have a grandfather who is lettered. I have a grandmother who is not lettered. To the extent that when my grandmother goes overseas to do omugo, they will just come back. We always hear news that makes us laugh. We once had the one where my paternal grandmother was telling my nephews and nieces, ah, that's okay, that's okay. She was only trying to pet them and tell them that's okay. And they started,
that's okay.
yeah, that's okay, that's okay.
Wow, that's
So parenting is not about the number of education you acquire. So when we talk about literacy in parenting, then literacy should be how you nurtured your own children, the experience you use in nurturing those children. If we look deep into your own stories, you might have one or two things to share. Your parents might not even be lettered at all. But today, the children of those that are lettered back then might not even be able to sit at your feet. They might not even be able to talk to you.
You just reminded me of sharing an experience. There are two I want to share. One, I school in Oshogbo Secondary School, and my mates include the children of Omidiro, one of the richest Oshogbo man, Ajewole, the man that used to sell vehicles in those days. Remember collecting Ajewole family. Those are we school together. I think from Form 3, Form 4, Form 5 before we pass out. They used to come with cars to the school, and I find out that with that enough, we respected them a lot. In fact, the Ajiwale is one of the lady in Ajiwale happened to be my friend. You know, those they will call them girlfriend, they are not girlfriend, but they are so close. You understand? I find it very difficult to rapport with them because I believe I came from a semi or literate family. These people are learning, but today we are now in the same party. In fact, I could remember these things we are talking about make me. I became the first president of the 1989 this ANCO 89 set. I was the president for almost 8 years. You understand? The person who took over for me now is a professor of tourism in Texas University. In fact, we chatted this morning. Prof. It's an actually Prof. Kayo International who took over for me as the president. And both of us were punctuality prevent at the gate. If you know Anglican very well, or the Kinu Road. You see, all of us grew. But I now saw with time, we now became mates. We became equal. With little education we acquired, first degree and second degree, we became, but our parents. But then, I never knew that Chief Ajiwale was not even lettered. Serious. I never knew Chief Omidiran, Baba Omidiran. He was not lettered. But he has children. He's the owner of Omidiran, big Omidiran Hotel in those days, former Oyo State. Now I think they have a Omidiran University still in the process. Look at the level. We have a background of let me tell my father background is a retired soldier. I think he did more than 3.
Which means your own father is even more lettered compared to them.
God bless
and
you.
The literacy, you see them as the children of the literate.
That is where I'm going. My daddy did more than 3. St. Mark and this Anglican have the same fence. If you know Shigbo very well, those who are watching me will know what I'm talking about. My dad went to St. Mark Modern School, while I went to Anglican Grammar School. The same school, the same fence. In fact, it's not even fence, mixed together. mixed together. The only difference then is our uniform. We use white and what they use white and blue. That's the only difference you see. My daddy went to that school in those days as a modern school student. He now joined the Nigerian army. You understand? You rise. No, it's late now. So, and these people I thought were more educated than my dad. Never knew that my dad is even more educated than them. Most of them did. They are cocoa farmers. We thought they are not educated. You understand? Our parents are not educated, but they are even far better. You understand? Because when we have this generation of children we have now is so funny that the little educated ones even want to teach or teach their parents who are more educated than them that they know better. So even a school staff holder is telling his dad or his mom, who is a nurse, who not a roadside nurse, a registered nurse, that school is like this. But the mother passed through the stage and she's back.
Sorry to say, we do not invest in probably because the parents invested wrongly. So to me, that kind of parents, because you dare not even tell my mom it is spelled this way. The Yoruba's mother will say, then we say, àwọn teacher ẹ̀ tó bá débi máa kọ́ wọn. That is that. Yes, we were taught some things. Once you fail, you don't dare go home. When I got enrolled at Daily Area Nursery and Primary School or Town, I was there, and one thing I noticed is the first day I mistakenly slipped from the first position to the third position. I wanted to go home. Then I got home. I went home that day. Then I got the highest reception they would give to anyone in my house. So I was happy, like my mom even appreciated me. I was thinking, with all the stress now, everything, I got the reception and everything, and only for my mom to wake me up at midnight, ask me to start.
Wow.
So I only got the punishment of my life as a reward for bringing in third position. So when my mom woke up the next day, she had to sit me down and she said, "Did you know why you came home with the third position? It was because when I teach you, you said your teachers are better. If you had listened to what I was teaching you, augmenting it with what you have been taught at school, then you would have done better." I was shocked. Then my mom now told me a story of when she failed then at Zumratu primary school. She said she could not even go home. She had to go and stay in front of a coming vehicle, that the vehicle should crush her, because if she goes home with that result, the mother, who is a literate, will feel, with all my sweat, who is an illiterate, will feel with all my sweat and everything, so you had to even disgrace me, because failure then to those illiterates, failure to illiterate is a crime. But to literate, they will feel, well, you can do better next time. So the literacy in them encourage substandard education. Unlike those ones that are illiterate, they want you to sit at the tables where presidents are sitting. So if we are looking at the academic aspect, if we are defining literate parent, semi-literate parent, and illiterate parent, then we will say a literate parent is that person that has gone through the waters, that is educated, that is lettered, well spoken, outspoken, and fluent. But when we look at the growing world, the world we are in today, then to me it is a different definition entirely.
Basically, literacy, illiterate, and semi-literate. I know there are three different categories of people. The semi-literate is somebody who can read, might not be able to write good letters, might not be able to sit among the who is who in a society, and the literate are the one who can write, who can argue, who can prove points, and who can sit among the who is who. But the total illiterate is someone who cannot write, but still sensible, knows his right from his left, wants his children to be educated. Though we have some funny illiterate who still remain illiterate. We say situation whereby illiterate will say, I cannot kill myself. I cannot kill myself because of a child. He is not literate. He is not lettered. He is literate, and he is not pursuing a child to be lettered. There are people like that.
Okay, sir. In cases like this, how do we define a man?
Mm-hmm.
Because all of my years in private practices, I have only worked once with twice with a lettered individual
Okay.
as chairman. Because, for example, I started my career with Ibrahim Dende International Hotels, IBD Hotels, Abeokuta Ilaro. Ibrahim Dende, everyone knows the story. He's not lettered. He is not. So going with the people and the calibers of people he mingles it within the society, would you describe him as literate because he is well to do?
But there will be a time that we need to write something, and that we know to show to the whole world that this man with upon his money is not lettered.
These people are writing. They accrue knowledge from their employees. They accrue knowledge from people from
without being to the four walls of the school.
Without being to the four walls of the school. My last employment, I worked with a known PSP operator. I started my career there as an assistant manager. He pays good than what most literate does. He cannot write. The most amazing part is if you even dare to introduce him to technology, he would accuse you of trying to manipulate the system. He will accuse you of trying to steal from him. What he invested
physical working.
Yes, he invested in money in these technologies. I was not his employee when he started using database, when he started computing his work. But once you go there and say this database can even serve us more, it can do this, it can do that, my boss will tell you no. Once you are arguing and you are able to provide a superior argument, he goes home. Probably when he gets home, he sleeps, thinks, everything, then he'll come back and say, he's not giving in 100%, just bend a little and invent his own policies. And this is a man who financed his own children's education through Babcock and Footer.
The same person?
Yes, the same person.
He value education.
That is why I am still of the opinion that once we are discussing parenting, and we are probably, if we are discussing this topic in the general world, like who is an illiterate, semi-literate, in general terms, we can say let us start differentiating that the illiterate are the illiterate are the ones that are lettered, that are half lettered, blah 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 blah. But once it comes to parenting, it is not the same, because if you are not a literate, you would not be able to see any child through. You'll not be able to see any child through.
But when you're growing up, the literate, semi-literate, and illiterate parents, I want to bring. I have a friend. I've mentioned his name, and I'll still mention his name. I know he's a regular viewer of our program. Associate Prof. Kayode Aleshino. He has a father who is a medical doctor. He has a mother who is a teacher. Then, when we were in secondary school, my mom was a petty trader. She traveled from Osogbo to Jeba to buy food stuff. My father just retired from the Nigerian army. But I noticed then, even in our mix, that Kayode, I know you are listening and you are watching. Kayode speak good English among us. And some of us will not speak English because we know we have to pay for vernacular. Then, and because we don't want to pay, we keep our mouth shut in the class. We remain silent. We remain like a dumb in the class. But when Kayode we speak good English, in fact, myself and him were punctually to prevent 1, 2, 3, 4. No, there were 4. There were 2 ladies and 2 guys and 2 ladies. Then I saw it in him, even up to now, that literate parents have a build up from childhood than the semi or the literate. Okay. That is why I'm saying you give instances of your grandma or whatever, but I'm just the majority of the literate parents, their children grew fast in education. Seriously, let's be fair with ourselves. When I left Osogbo there, Osogbo was still under Oyo State to Lagos.
They only grew verbally, not intellectually.
Some of them are very intellectual.
My dear. Sir, to be candid, they grew verbally, not intellectually. The truth is coming from my own background, coming from what I have experienced. My mom once told me a story about my grandma went to government college Ikorodu to disrupt the activities because she felt a child shouldn't have come home with a particular result. So it was just an years then as of when I had it.
Okay.
Then it happened I represented Yewa Senior Grammar School Ikorodu at the first essay writing competition for
Okay.
big biro. So fortunately, one thing led to the other. I made it up, and when we got to school, the school was now then my principal, Mr. George, was now saying, okay, oh, this thing we will not share, we will not. The school got its own reward. Then my own reward, and I said, this 50,000 naira we will share.
Your own.
Yes, we will share. You will give the school 30,000 naira, you take 20,000 naira. After they've gotten their own reward. So my grandma, when my mom was still saying no, she was still using her literacy aspect. My grandma just went to the school and disrupted.
Your mom was calm.
My mom was calm,
The grandma was
but the illiterate went to the school, disrupted everything, and went back to Acme Road, the then big headquarters, and say, this child is not even up to 18 years. He cannot access this money. Just pay the money to that Access Bank. We now got to Access Bank. My grandma was the one telling the branch manager then. Access Bank has this garage branch there. My grandma was the one telling the branch manager that this boy is not even up to 18 years. Just take the 50,000 naira. Oya put it in that account. That was an illiterate. Now the school wanted to recover the 20,000, the 30,000 naira. It was impossible for them. Because will you now ask my parents to take 20,000 out of their own pocket to pay you? So when we talk about literacy, these people, to me, they are just sound intellectually. During my IT days, I worked at Salu hospitals. I was in the same department. I was in the medical laboratory department with the son of a known professor in Lagos State, which I would not want to mention his name. But the name of the boy is Idowu. We were there. He attended Unilag.
Okay.
He was in Unilag. I am coming from Moshood Abiola Polytechnic Abeokuta IT here. I was there with one of my own colleague in school.
Okay.
Ibimorote Bolanle Ayodeji. And the most amazing part is once we come, and because when we got there, we met him there, but we dedicated and devoted our time to everything because we know we have no one. We have nothing to fall back on. That was our own last chance. It is not about the vocabularies. It is not about the grammar. So when the ITF people came and they were interrogating us, they asked us again. They said, "Are you sure you people have not passed through HND and you are just pretending to be ND students here?"
Because of what they saw.
Yes, because of what they saw.
In the terms of let's go back to your grandma now. Are you sure your grandma is not an activist?
She was at no point an activist.
There's a difference between an activist and being literate. You can be literate and be
the illiterate parents, the ready ones, takes lessons from all sides. That is one thing. From all sides, yes. Once you come and tell them you have the power to do this, they assimilate that. Another person comes and say you have the power to do this, they assimilate that. Yes. Then they out of their own illiteracy, they now start thinking, if I do this, won't it lead to another problem? And that is where the power of vocabulary ends, common sense. That is where the common sense revolution comes in. That is where the power of literacy ends. Before my grandma would not even punish us in public. My grandma would just say, bros, ìṣẹ́jú márùn. That ìṣẹ́jú márùn, it is a sign. Ìṣẹ́jú márùn, you choose whatever you like. Well, if you want to kneel down, you kneel down. If you want anything you want, you choose.
You choose any of the punishment.
You choose any of the punishment. If you not think kneeling down is easy, she will just enter, carry mortar, put on your hand. Oh yeah, what do you want to do?
And she was never learned.
She was never learned. At no point. She wasn't
a teacher.
She was a cleaner. We could do local government. The story is there to verify.
I say, viewers, thank you for enjoying this program. We discuss today with my guest Bidemi in the studio. We are talking about the illiterate, semi-literate, and literate parents. We all have them at home, the literate ones. I don't know where you belong to. I have a semi-literate parent. Though my dad is late, but I have a mom who still read at 75, 70. She still reads her Bible. And the only thing is that when we comes to information, we argue. You understand? And she agree with us because she will say, "Eyinle Wanta, you are the one outside, you are the one latest." Including my dad. I remember a day in the early 90s after my secondary school. I've been to Lagos and came back. I was trying to get admission then. Okay, I think I was undergraduate. My dad asked me then that what is the difference between a commissioner and a minister? That was a good question. My father asking his son. In fact, as at that time, be sincerely, I couldn't answer him correctly immediately. Sincerely, I was an undergraduate. I have to crack my brain. Minister, commissioner, commissioner for state, minister for federal. That's how I answered him. So you can have a funny parent who asks you some funny question. That does not make them totally illiterate. But one thing I want you to know, you their viewers, is that we all belongs, even in Europe, America, we have this set of people. You have them. It is not everybody in the US that undergo school. Majority of them undergo vocational schools. And what they go to do there is they just go to learn how to trade, how to do the vocational training, not seriously lettered. So we have, don't think it's only Africa or in Nigeria that we have illiterate parents. We have them over there, but not as much as we have here. And the major reason why we have most of these literates in Africa is because it's not because they don't want to. The cost of acquiring education, I'm talking about the
The
education
educated
one.
ones.
Yes, it's the cost of acquiring this education that is a major problem. So how do you find solution as we are rounding up this segment of the program to these things? We have the
Well, the government has made things easy, and that
okay,
is why we have the continuing education.
yeah,
So many people are exploring it. Many people are exploring it, and
continuing education centers.
yes, continuing education centers. Many people are exploring it. So because I have examples of people who have explored it. My in-law is a typical example. My father-in-law is a typical example
Mm.
because he was an illiterate.
Mhm.
He got his continuing education
Mhm.
and he retired as a senior technician with the Federal University of Agriculture, Akure.
Mm.
So it was through the continuing education.
Education.
So that is it. People are exploring the continuing education, but the government should only bring it more closer to the people, more closer. The
What
adult
about
education program.
funding? The
That is
funding.
that is where I'm. That is where I'm going. The government should bring it more closer to the people. You know, when our government, our most especially our legislators, they invest heavily in empowerment. They forgot education.
Education, yes.
You give people
Sewing machine.
sewing
You
machines
give
and the
them
likes. You give them
grinding
the
machine.
education that would fund it.
Yeah.
So in as much as my maternal grandmother is even an illiterate, she has this sewing machine in her house, and she was one that even taught me how to measure people. So this is the knowledge she accrued from the streets.
Mm.
That is the street
That
smartness,
is
the
the
street
school.
education.
Mm.
So that was her own school, and that is why I never classified her as an illiterate. So that is where I am coming from. But all these our legislators, when they are coming, let them fund continuing education. There are a lot of challenges presently in the educational sector. Is not, I would not use the word in mess, but the educational sector is not what it ought to be.
Okay.
And it should be a collective something. We should not be expecting the central, either the federal or the state government to do something, or the local government. If our legislators are coming on board, you want to give someone my man sheet because she's a tailor, are you giving her the educational skills
To
to upgrade the educational requirement to
upgrade.
upgrade our skills? Because when I was learning the fashion designing stuff of a thing, we were just using the normal table. But immediately 2 3 years after, I discovered some people have started using the white marker board.
Mm.
From there, I noticed some people have started using projector.
From there now laptop and stuff.
Yes, my own educational skills, because I am lettered. I had to seek more knowledge
To know how to do it
to
in
know how
modern
to,
way.
in the modern way, to move with times and trends. So once we are talking about literacy, the government should bring the continuing education closer to the people. They should make it more accessible and affordable. All this money is being, because I see it as waste.
Yeah.
Because before you say you are empowering people with 200 machines, and all of these 200, yes, they are grassroots people. people with no, they you yes, they are your loyalists, but they do not even have the education. The only thing they have is that skills, is that vocational skills. So instead of you to put them in a class, upgrade them, at the end of the day give them this certificate, BSc in fashion designing, HND in this thing.
OND.
Yes, with that they get another education. Like my boss that I was telling you, we refuse to service a particular area, so they now wrote a letter down to my organization. So I guess the chairman of the CDA of the estate now wrote two particular. I would not remember the for other one. Obnoxious and something. Then my chairman asked us to respond, and he's asking me to even reply with that obnoxious and the other English. I was like, no, why? Why the same language? Then my chairman had researched for 2 days. He knew the meaning of obnoxious and the other.
It's a legal term.
Yes, it's a legal term. That word that he used, he disrespected me, return it back. And he had to do his bidding. Then definitely the man the letter is coming from knows he has touched the wrong person, because he wrote that letter because he felt it's not letter.
Okay.
Let us just change. Let's change each other. Yes, let's change each other. Because they were at fault, so they wanted to change my organization. It's not even Bibles. If it is Bibles, it's better. They wanted to change us, so we will pay for what we know nothing about. So my boss said, include that obnoxious and that word, include it. So that is it. So the government should just do better, fund education, let the empowerment be attached with education.
Oh, thank you, viewers. I know you enjoyed today's program. My good friend, co-discussant here today, Abidemi, is doing the right thing, and don't worry, you see more of him. I will bring him more on a lot of programs in this place. Today he's doing well, and he's a private person. He's so proprietor, and he's a diversified person. Thank you for having me. Then viewers, you're welcome to Abifa podcast show today. As I said, please go to our channel. Just subscribe to our channel. It's a nice one. We are doing a nice thing here for you, and you begin to see a lot of guests here who will explain, give you more insight on discussion on what's going on currently in the nation, Africa, and general world. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being with me till now. Till I see you next time. Thank you. Bye for now.